Okay, so hopefully your spa is now up to operating temperature, so we can look at now balancing the water. Within your starter kit you should have had some test strips. This is the current variety we're using, but they're all very similar, and what we need to be doing is getting all of the levels on these test strips into the OK band that you can see indicated. It's very important to get the water balance correctly. If it's not, the sanitizer, so your chlorine or bromine, won't work effectively, but also it will make your skin potentially itchy and unpleasant. If you've got, say, a low pH level, the water's going to be acidic, you're going to get very itchy. So very important to try and get these balanced correctly. The first area we're going to look at on the test strips is the total alkalinity. Alkalinity works as a buffer for the pH. So if your alkalinity is out, you'll find that your pH level will be erratic and you'll struggle to balance it. So the first thing we need to do is get the alkalinity into the OK band. So the OK band's between 80 and 120 parts per million. We can do that now, so we'll just have a quick dip and see where this spa is located. So these test strips, as it says on the side, take 15 seconds to develop, so we'll dip them in and we shall count our best to 15 as we talk at the same time. So I'm probably ready at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so you probably can't see this too clearly, but the colour down here fortunately sits in the OK band. We've got the pH above it and the chlorine's quite high and the bromine. So we're okay with our alkalinity at the moment. However, if your water was lower, so say you're sat at something like 40 parts per million, just below the OK band, I would advocate you're going to need to add 5 heaped teaspoons of the alkalinity increaser into the spa. So again, like we did with the chlorine, scoop some warm water, add the powder into the bucket, give it a good stir, and then fire the pumps up and pour that back in. Give the alkalinity increaser about 5 or 10 minutes to circulate around the spa, and then you're safe to dip again to have a look at the pH level. Now, what you tend to find in most areas with the way the water works in the UK, you're not going to be a million miles away from the OK band. The water companies tend to keep us in a pretty stable state. So once your alkalinity is balanced, your pH is probably going to be very close to your OK band. If you need to increase it, so the low level on here is 6.8 and the OK band 7.2, you're probably looking about 3 heaped teaspoons will lift you up from one block to the next. But it is a little bit of trial and error. Similarly, if you find you're in the high band, so 7.8 or 8.4 on the thing, again, 3 heaped teaspoons should drop you down a step. If you find that your water level is quite erratic, and we do find this sometimes if you're on a borehole or well water, something like that, then best thing I suggest is talk to one of the showrooms, either myself or my colleagues up in Durham, and we'll try and walk you through what you need to do to adjust your levels down. Got your levels of pH and alkalinity set, they don't tend to move that far through the life of the water, so you should see 2 months usage without much movement in them. As you start to go into month 3 and they start to move a little bit, sometimes that's a hint to start thinking about need to change the water in the near future, but you can, as I say, adjust using the chemicals until that point you're ready to adjust the water. Okay, that's our startup.